After 20 years, I decided to play a chess tournament again to try myself. I'm playing against this kid who won his age category, and I start with d4. He goes with d5, expecting most likely a queen's gambit, but I deviate very early on, and I play this move, bishop g5, the semi-Trompovsky, just because people just don't know, especially kids, this opening. They don't have the experience to play it, so I don't want to fall into some sort of preparation. Knight c6 is already a little bit inferior knight c6 here, and I play e3, just because it would be good to have c6 as a move to sustain the pawn chain. He goes knight f6, and I decide to exchange the bishop for the knight, and now attacking the center with c4 straight away. And you see that it would be nice to be able to play this move c6 to sustain the pawn on d5, and now it's not possible because of this knight. Instead, at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you how you should play with black against this opening. He develops the bishop, I play a3, trying to control actually this important square so no pieces can actually come here, and now he goes g6. I continue my development, putting pressure on the pawn on d5, and it looks like he misses it. Usually, you know, kids can also make this kind of mistake where they want to develop very quickly and think about attacking with this kind of moves. Even though this one, the problem is you have pawns on dark squares, which means this bishop doesn't do much on this diagonal. So he forgot that this pawn was taken. So guys, you have to be very careful and just ask yourself, like, what does this guy want when he plays knight c3? And here, after taking on d5, you see it's a blunder. Try to pause the video and see if you can find the winning move for white here. Very easy move, but you know, he missed it. That's the reason why we don't put the knight on the rim like this, because because the knight doesn't have any square. It's a shame because, well, kind of cancels the fight that we could have had straight away on move 8. I'm sure we could have played a much better game. You see that he realizes right now the mistake that he made, but you see putting pieces, for some reason we're drawn when we start chess to put pieces on the side of the board for some reason, and I don't know why. Instead, pieces are way more powerful in the center, right? So then he decided to play c6. I take the knight. He could have taken the pawn with the queen, but he decided to take in the center with d5. I check, because when the king is in the center, you have to take advantage of it. He's gonna try to cover, putting his bishop, so he keeps the right to castle, but I try to put a piece here so I don't let him castle. It's very important when the king is in the center to play moves like queen a4, because now if he castles, well, he loses the bishop. Okay. Also, this pawn is still attacked, so the position is already lost. But he's gonna keep playing, trying his best. And from here, I mean, he didn't make a lot of mistakes, but when you lose a piece on move 8, it's quite difficult to come back in the game, right? Unless I blunder, which, you know, could have been possible. You're gonna see he goes with rook c8, attacking this knight, but this knight can simply take the pawn on d5, which is what I'm gonna do. And now he has to be very careful. I'm threatening to take the bishop, and when the queen takes, I take this pawn with a fork on the queen and the king. So he's kind of forced to actually exchange bishops in this situation. This is what he does. I take back with check, and now don't cover with the queen, otherwise it's a massive fork. And usually, like, he did this. Usually you don't want to cover a check with a rook or a queen, just because the minor pieces are inferior in value and they can just put pressure on the square again. So usually you cover a check with minor pieces or a pawn, but try not to do it with a rook or a queen, just because of moves like this one. And you see what happens. Now I threaten this, and also I can just take the rook on the next move. So it would have been better instead to just, you know, go and hide with the king instead of bringing the rook. This is also something that I see when we start chess. We try to keep the right to castle. Sometimes castling by hand, like we say, and going with the king here and then bringing the rook here is also a possibility. Is also sometimes better than actually just playing a move like this. Here I'm like trying to think about a move like a6, thinking He cannot take, otherwise I take the rook. But at the end, I'm just gonna take the rook with the... I mean, I don't know, I'm just thinking about it, but it's his move to play. He plays this, and now I'm simply gonna take the rook, and we exchange everything. When you're up in material, try to exchange pieces. This is where, you know, the piece, when you're a piece down, this is where you feel it the most. I develop the knight, he castles, and now you keep the king in the center. Obviously, in this kind of situations, you want that if he plays a move like this, you always have this move where you control the b2 square, for instance. And he doesn't realize, looking at his face, he doesn't understand exactly what is happening here. So what happened? So he goes like this, he tries to push on c5. I take the b file. Obviously, I want to infiltrate on the 7th. He tries to not let me come here, so then what I do is that I bring the second rook, and you see, when you're a piece up, I'm a rook up here. If I don't play with the rook, if I don't play with the piece up, it's basically saying that I don't have a piece up. It cancels actually the advantage of having a piece that the other opponent doesn't have. So I see a lot of people actually being very passive when they're a piece up, and they shouldn't. I mean, this is the piece that really comes in play. That's the reason why I brought the rook here, having a clear target on the c5 square. Here is trying to find a move. It's going to be very difficult. And also something is going to happen that is pretty funny, that actually never happened to me. Bishop g7. I was kind of feeling a bit... I infiltrate on the 7th. Now we have someone who didn't see the camera, apparently. So he just comes in the frame. Nice little Nike Air t-shirt. Something is going to happen later on. You'll see. I don't know. Total brain fog for me. He's thinking, trying to see exactly what's going to happen, but ultimately he understands that he has to exchange rooks, so he brings the bishop. And yeah, I'm just going to exchange, because why not? I mean, exchanging, you reduce his chances of counterattack. That's the reason why when we're up in material, we exchange pieces, because we reduce the chances that our opponent is going to find a trick basically against us, right? So now I check up and I push the pawn. You're gonna see it. I'm a little bit ahead here. Obviously, I'm just trying to, you know, just a queen, right? Just trying to red carpet here. So he goes with the check. I bring the king up, always in the middle of the board. And sorry about this, but I had my dog behind me. So he brings the king, the knight goes to d4. I'm trying to control this square with the knight so he doesn't come closer to my pawn. Really hard to find a move in this position. Extremely difficult. But, you know, after watching Gotham, nobody resigns anymore. So they try their luck. Obviously, this position was resignable because there is not really like chances to mess up for me. So now he brings the king, and I realize, okay, what am I doing? Because he could just play a move like this, attacking both pieces, even though it wouldn't be a disaster. But here, apparently, I had the move, knight take a7, bishop take, and rook c7, attacking the bishop. And then when the rook is here, you can just push this, and you're going to win the game. But I was like, okay, do I want this kind of shenanigan? And I have to play knight e7 to protect the rook, for instance, and then he takes the pawn. So I just decided to come back. Gave a check, and actually there is a trap. If he takes, there is rook check, king moves, and then I would have taken the bishop, pawn takes, and then this pawn is unstoppable. But let's see if he's gonna take the pawn. Not sure actually what happened here. Yes, and this is the funny part actually. I speak to him here, he takes, and when he takes, I'm telling him, well, you can't because you're in check. For some reason, total brain fog, never happened to me. But yeah, but he's eliminating the knight that he's checking. So what am I talking about? Literally never happened. So we started laughing about it because I was like, what is this? You see, when you don't play chess for so long, well, this is what happens. Now I just go and grab basically all the pawns, just do a queen, And yeah, this is gonna be pretty straightforward with a checkmate in 2 moves that most likely you can try yourself to find in this position. So I queen, and now he's gonna try to hide with his king. Maybe in this kind of situation, what you have to do most likely is just push the pawns so you can try to have a stalemate. Because with these pawns here, then there is no stalemate possible. So he goes king g5, I take on f7, now he goes on h5, I go here, check, he goes on g5, now I check with the queen, and on the next move, it's gonna be checkmate. He was disappointed, but he asked me to leave this on the camera, on the video. He was super nice kid, and he's a subscriber of the channel, and he started like 2-3 years ago. Very happy to see this, and look at this. He lost the game, but you know, still putting back the pieces and with a smile, and I really appreciate this. I mean, really nice kid. He won his prize category, and I'm sure that in 2-3 years, this game would have been totally different. He's gonna improve and do great things in chess, I'm pretty sure. Just a quick thing here, on bishop g5, the best way to play is to just go h6, bishop h4, and now you go c6, like this, because obviously you can't move this one because of the pin, so you go with the other one, and what you will do is that you try to put pressure on the b2 pawn. Because I removed actually this bishop from here, what you can do, you go like this and trying to put pressure. So for instance here I play e3, and now you play queen b6, and that's the way you play against it. Best move is to play this, and now there is a very nice move which is e5. Already you're gonna win games because some of your friends will take this pawn thinking he's a free pawn, but they're gonna lose after this check and also attacking the bishop. So you win a piece this way. So after this move e5, the best move is just to play knight f3, the pawn moves, and knight d2. You're just gonna go bishop e7, bishop g3, knight f6, develop pieces like this. White is going to be playing like this on the queen side, and you're gonna do the opposite, which is knight b d7, castle, and try to play on this side.